An antisocial and suicidal-looking software engineer and hardcore mecha otaku from Japan dies in a car accident. He wakes up in another world reincarnated as Ernesti Eru Echevalier, the son of a noble family, a world weirder than his. This world didn't have more genders than people, but it did have knights and magic. He teams up with two kids about his age and makes his way to owning and riding the Transformers in this world. An antisocial and pale-looking coding genius saves his colleagues by writing an impossible code, which would take at least 10 people and a minimum of 1 month to write, and he finishes it in 1 night. I mean, that's just crazy. I cannot begin to emphasize how insane this is. This young man is Grand Theft Auto wasted, just after he leaves a toy store where he got a robot mod figure. I didn't know if I should be sad or amused. Well, as all good reincarnation animes go, he still has memories of his past life, but he's sent to the ancient times of monsters and magic. He rides in a carriage with his mother and grandfather. They're suddenly attacked by something that looks like a giant housefly. The mother and grandfather go to defeat the monster, and with a little difficulty, they kill it. Just as we're about to celebrate victory, a bigger wasp-looking monster with giant metal mantis hands shows up. This is a scene straight out of a female's horror nightmare. It picks up the carriage and destroys it. Our little protagonist, now just 7 years of age, falls from the wreckage of the carriage, lands on the floor, and is about to be eaten. That's when a fireball is sent from a distance to hit the wasp-looking monster, and just as we're both wondering where the fireball came from, we see 2 figures burst out of the trees. Oh my god. It's 2 giant Optimus Primes. We find out that these robots are called Silhouette Knights, but for the sake of this review, we'll call them Autobots. And one more thing, when our protagonist finally owns a Silhouette Knight, we will obviously call it Optimus Prime. The 2 Autobots kill the giant monster, and Ernesti, amazed to see 2 Autobots that look just like the robot mods he got in his past life just before he died, expresses his love for the Autobots and says he's going to learn everything he needs in order to obtain one. Ernesti makes 2 friends in a weird encounter where they were trying to escape from their houses, and they later enroll in a Night Runner college. Ernesti already knows the basics of magic and Autobots and wants to take second-year classes for silhouette construction. Just as he and his 2 friends ponder on how he'll make it happen, the son of a dwarf runs by. He is being bullied by 3 other students. Ernesti offers his assistance and requests that the dwarf takes him to his father's workshop. Ernesti requests a special design wand for magic casting. It's shaped like a short gun, a literal shotgun. He uses his newly made weapon to blow people's minds away in the magical power exhibition. He is then given permission to skip the basics class for the second-year classes. As you would have it, the news goes wide and we can happily see our boy is making a name for himself and rounding up chicks he doesn't even know yet. Another 3 years later, the second-year students go out to the woods for training with about 5 to 6 Autobots for protection. They get to their destination, and at night, Ernesti takes a stroll to where the Autobots are to admire them. They're actually very nice, different designs and colors. Ernesti is given the opportunity to sit in the pilot seat. And I think I forgot to mention how cute Ernesti looks. He's got these eyes that will mess with your girl's head. For some reason, he's animated to look like a small girl. Though he is still just 12, but he looks like a girl. No masculinity at all. I don't like that at all, but I'm guessing the writers have other things in store for us. Ernesti enjoys the pilot seat as he imagines the kind of life he should be living. Just then, a horde of possessed monsters approaches their location. The students are awakened and are called to safety. The Autobots are away from where the children are. It takes a while for the Autobots to get there. Ernesti shows up, pulls some awesome moves too. The monsters are finally driven back, and everyone is safe once more. But Ernesti thinks it's not an ordinary attack. A princess of the land who also followed for training grabs Ernesti and places him in her sweet bosom. He asks her if it felt weird that they were attacked because it was supposed to be the safest place. He senses that those beasts must be running from something bigger. We see flashes of destroyed Autobots, and a monster the size of 3 dragons. This monster is so big it makes the Autobots look like plastic toys. This monster literally marches forward. Forward ever. Backward never. This monster treads upon the Autobots like ants. The Autobots are unable to lay a single scratch on it. The students are just at the feet of the mountain that surrounds their kingdom. And just as they all wonder why the monsters came their way, The gigantic monster breaks through the mountain just like in AOT when Reiner used his body to make a hole in Wall Maria. The monster looks like a turtle, and it spits fire, like if one of the TMNT and Fire Lord Ozai had a child. It is only natural we call it a turtle dragon. The sight of the turtle dragon causes the students to go into panic. Ernesti uses a fireball to send everyone to a specific direction. The Autobots distract the turtle dragon by sending harmless fireballs at it. The turtle dragon decides to use their own method against them, but unlike them, its fire breath is not harmless. Some of the Autobots were instantly melted away in the fire. Even I would be afraid at this point. One of the Autobots decides to escape instead of fight. Ernesti goes after it. Ernesti knocks out the pilot and takes over. He's still a little kid, so his limbs do not actually reach to steer it, so he uses his specially made weapon. And right about now, you should know what time it is. It's time for our protagonist, the one and the only, the main man of this anime, the beginning and the end. Okay, enough with all the hype. He uses his knowledge from his past life about coding to get the Autobot functional. Well, I don't know if he'll get another Silhouette Knight, so let's not hastily call this one Optimus Prime. The other Autobots can barely hold up with the monster. Ernesti shows up, and I am not going to lie. He makes it look so easy to pilot an Autobot. His mobility, agility, speed, and strength are on a whole different level. He makes the remaining pilots look like pure novices. He easily takes out one of its eyes and angers the turtle dragon. Ernesti tries to cut it up, but he easily realizes that this monster is impenetrable. This thing is indestructible, and we call it, you know the name, Turtle Dragon. The former pilot D wakes up in panic, and he actually is of some help. Not much, but we appreciate all the help we can get. Reinforcement arrives and is amazed by the movement of Ernesti's Autobot. They still come with their harmless fireballs, and the turtle monster relentlessly shows them that its fire breath is better than 50 of their fireballs combined. Ernesti is angered that some Autobots were destroyed, and he advances to strike the monster. And this time he lands a hit, and he notices that the monster's magical defense power has reduced. He devises a plan, and he gives control to D. He stands on the Autobot and unleashes a large number of spell circles which causes the monster to charge at them. It is time for some main character stuff. He uses a wind spell to slow down the monster. He tells D to jump backward. The monster catches up to them, all right, but the Autobot got a grip of the monster's face, just where Ernesti stabbed its right eye with his sword before. Fortunately, the sword was still there. Ernesti sends a large amount of lightning directly into the body of the monster. Oh, it dies all right. The report gets to the king, and before I continue, can I just take a minute to appreciate this wonderful, gold and beautiful, well-decorated Silhouette Knight just right behind the king? If Ernesti sets his eyes on that, his mind is going to explode. The king is amazed that a 12-year-old child defeated a Division-class beast. The king decides to meet this special child, but it gives me the creeps. Let's see what the next episode is going to give us. This was thrilling, especially the fight. I won't. Thanks for watching, fellow weebs. If you enjoyed this recap, dive into the next video or playlist, and don't forget to check out our cool anime hoodies in the description below. See you in the next recap.